votes. Saratoga Springs was doing well, and then 2008 hit. And building permits weren't coming in any longer. And we had a big shortfall. In essence, I rolled up my sleeves and we cut everything. We cut baby contest, we cut practically everything. Doesn't mean that we got rid of it, we just defunded it. Our property tax pays for public safety. That's what it pays for. Everything else has to be sustainable, pay for itself, and that's the way we do things in Saratoga Springs. We got rid of the cost of living increase. So instead of paying for people just to be there, we started doing performance evaluations. So that way, if you performed well, you got paid a bonus, which incentivized people to work hard. A lot of cities had cost of living increases, and we didn't want to incentivize people just for being there. We wanted to have people work really hard.
How do you do those on city employees? How do you?
We did.
How? I mean, what's the structure? How do you evaluate them?
The city manager evaluates them on for instance, if they've got certain goals that they have to meet, certain completed projects, certain goals that they have to meet, and that if you are able to complete those in a timely manner, then that helps with your evaluation. So it's different. Different positions have different goals and criteria, but that's how we did that. So Saratoga Springs now holds the best bond rating available to it. We are fiscally responsible. We are running well fiscally, and we are in firm financial standings because of the things that we did in 2008 and the things that we continue to do today. I'll give you an example. 2 years ago, we had some residents come to us and say, "Mayor, we need a library. Lehi has a library, Eagle Mountain has a library, everybody has a library. Give us a library." And we said, "We're not going to go and bond for a library, sorry." So we said, "Here's $10,000 in surplus money, go get a library." They said, "Mia, or Mayor, that's like peeing in the ocean. You're not going to get a library. You can't sustain a library on $10,000. How are you going to do that?" And I said, "If it's an essential service, you will be able to provide that service. You'll be able to get it done." After hard work, collecting books from neighbors, parts of proceeds in the restaurants that we have in Saratoga Springs going to the library, it was a long haul. I don't think anybody understood how much work it was going to be. 2 years later, we have a library, full-blown library, and it's run completely by volunteers, not on the backs of the taxpayers. And frankly, I think that that's the way we should do things. Frankly, why does this matter? Why does this matter here? Because those are the types of those are the types of policies, those are the types of things that we need in Washington. Those fiscal policies are the things that we need in Washington. What is our job? Is it our job to provide everything for everyone? It isn't. It's not our job. The best thing I've done in Saratoga Springs is step out of the way. Our city is growing. It's growing economically, and that growth is great. That's the type of growth we want. We want businesses to come in and to thrive. We want to be able to provide a welcoming community that is not built on government, but is built by the people. That's what we want, and that's how Saratoga Springs is growing today. And we need some of that in Washington. Well, this is why this matters. Why am I running? I'm running because there's a disconnect right now. I'm running because I honestly believe that I can make a difference in Washington. I know I can make a difference. There's a disconnect with our fellow Americans. Over 50% of our fellow Americans believe that it's okay to take from one and give to the other. They actually believe that it's government's job to do that.
Yeah. I explained to 2 people at work yesterday the earned income credit. We still have 4 at home. And explained to them they were my age or older. And I said, "Do you realize were literally reaching into your pocket and giving that money to me. They couldn't believe what the earned income credit was. I don't know, I'm sure you're familiar with what it is. They could not believe that you were actually given money.
We've got to change that. You realize that we've got to change that. The check doesn't come out of the sky. It doesn't come from this big thing that we call government. It comes from the people. That's what it comes from. It comes from you, it comes from you, it comes from you, it comes from everyone that is out there working, paying taxes. That's what it comes from. There's a disconnect there. So what do we do about it? Because that disconnect is really what's hurting our country today. What do we do about it? You know what we do? We elect someone that is going to get our fellow Americans to come in and believe in the things that we believe in. To grab them and say, listen, these are the things that we believe here. These are our values. The only way that you're going to realize the truth of the American dream is through hard work, not through government dependency. I'm a product of that. I've lived it, I've seen it. And if you can make a life, get 3 kids through college, and start off with $10, we should let other people realize that. We should let other people have the opportunity to do that. Now, if we can elect someone that will take our fellow Americans and believe in the things that we believe in, we change the direction of our country. If we can do that, we reclaim our country. Just think about it. We can get that shift, and we can bring our fellow Americans in. We change that country. We change our country. What we believe in Utah, our beliefs, our values, the hard work, those things are available to everyone else. I mean, if you think about it, I remember my parents coming in and visiting with me for a little bit, and my mom was going to put something in the oven. And I said, wait a minute, I've got to put aluminum foil down, and you can't just put it there because it's going to bubble over, and I'm going to have to, my oven's going to be a mess. And she's like, oh my gosh, when you were in my home, you just threw things in the oven all the time. I was like, yeah, but I bought this. I paid for this. And she's like, ah, now you see. And it's so funny, these are the lessons that we're still learning today. When you work for something hard, you take care of it. Right now, we incentivize and we reward bad behavior and punish good behavior. That's what we do. It's easier to stay and be able to ask a president, what are you going to do for me? What are you going to do for me? I'm living on hot dogs and beans. Is this my reality? That's what we have Americans asking today. We've got to change that. We've got to say, move aside and let us decide on our own. So, these are the things I stand for. When you ask me, what are you going to do? What are your priorities? We need to focus. One, we have to cut spending. I've done it. I know how to do it. I know what federal government should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. And pretty much, it's national defense. That's what they should be doing. 2, we've got to remove the regulation that's stifling our business. We've got to limit government. Energy, as far as I'm concerned, affordable, abundant energy is a means to freedom. And 3, we've got to allow people to be personally responsible for their lives. There isn't anyone that knows what you need in your family more than you do. Is there? Who knows better what you need and what your child needs in her education more than you in that? No one. Do you own a business? Who knows better what you need in your business, what you need to make your business thrive more than you?
Not those guys.
You know, Mio, something that I really think you would bring to the national scene as opposed to every one of your opponents on both sides is there's some great conservative black men and women out there. But there is such, I mean, Justice Thomas is one of my heroes. He is a great man. But I think what sets you apart in my mind is to get you not only elected, to get you out there, but then to get you in and talking to some of these minority kids and in some of these minority communities to realize that, you know, yeah, there was great, terrible things that happened in the past, but, you know, the Maxine Waters of the world are certainly not, and the Jesse Jacksons are certainly not the type of men and women that are going to help bring our black communities up to snuff with the rest of the communities in America.
And this is what I have to say about that. Let's face it. Saratoga Springs doesn't have the best bond rating available to it because I'm female and because I'm black. It didn't happen. That didn't happen. It's because of the policies I put in place. It's because of the knowledge I had and the things that we've been able to do. That's the reason why. And so we take that to Washington. But you're absolutely right. If I can look across and say, your representatives, because there isn't anybody that wants to remain poor, right? Your representatives have kept you dependent on government and kept themselves in power. I'm a product. If you want this for your children, if you want to be able to take care of yourself and take care and leave something for your children, you've got to work for it. Or else this will continue and continue. And you can only distribute so much until there is nothing left. I've seen a country that has had distribution of wealth. I've seen a country that has caused class warfare so bad that they've taken and split the country. They split the country apart and removed every business out. That paradise looks like Haiti. You want to see poor? There's nothing to distribute anymore. There's no wealth left to distribute. So thank you for your comments. That I understand it. If I really felt that there are other people that could do the job that I can do in Washington, I'd stay home. My life will be a lot easier at home. This is going to be a major sacrifice, but I'm willing to stand up and do something so I can leave my children a country more prosperous than the one I've inherited. That's my job as a parent. Questions?
Well, I like all of these principles you're talking about. I mean, I would call myself conservative, and I believe in fiscal responsibility, and Social Security is ridiculous at this point, and all of these things. But I guess the question, and you've somewhat addressed it, is for me is what sets you apart from the others in this field, the other Republicans in the field right now. You've got 3 right now opponents. Is that right? 3 opponents, 3 Republicans. Okay. So. And I don't know much about them. I'm just learning about all of them as well. Mm-hmm. But what is it that, in your experience, sets you apart from them? I imagine they have some of the same arguments. Look at my record. But
well, I can tell you right now, you can look at any of their records, and there's not one person that can say I've cut spending. Not one of them. I can say I've cut spending. So that is a big dividing factor. My focus. There are a lot of people that are focused on certain things. I mean. You've got representatives that are focused on online gambling. You've got, gun laws and different things like that, where I think those are really important. My focus is on the economy. That's where my focus is. My focus is on the economy, and I do believe it's effective. The way that we are going to grow economically is by allowing our private businesses to thrive, allowing our businesses to thrive. What I try to explain to people when I talk, I was talking to somebody that was doing she was doing my hair today. And she says, I saw this big picture of the president up there. And I thought to myself, aha, let's see if I can get to her, if I can talk to her. And the picture of the president, I was like, do you like the president? She's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, about what he's done. I was like, so tell me what he's done for you. And she said, well, he's done nothing for me. But, he's really,